3 fundamental questions to give you faster and easier sales results. Hi everybody, this is Melinda from Women Making Big Sales. If you want to know what these 3 most important questions you have to ask yourself before you start going after prospects, stay tuned and I'm going to share these important questions with you. And if you are thinking of getting new clients, trying to go after big clients, you're doing your prospectings, you gotta ask yourself these 3 questions because it could determine the success of your entire sales campaign. It could determine whether you get to speak to the right people and whether these people are the right clients for you. So what am I talking about when I'm thinking about these 3 questions? Here's what's going on. I've been speaking with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I know that in today's age, there are so many options in terms of going after clients. And, people would be talking about social selling, LinkedIn selling, creating blogs, content marketing, cold calling, the more traditional ways, or networking, speaking engagements. There are tons and tons of different opportunities to get in front of your potential clients, but it could be confusing as well. As entrepreneurs, we don't have a lot of time to do it all, even though we wish that we would be able to do all these prospecting activities and get lots of leads. We know that it is just simply not doable. It's not realistic. And so how do you really get real success from your sales campaign, from your prospecting activities? And I think, there are some important questions that people must ask themselves before they determine which prospecting strategy or which lead generation strategies they are going to use. And I'm going to share with you these three fundamental strategies. And usually these are the questions I would ask my coaching clients right away before when they started working with me, because they are so important, and it will give you a clarity and focus and knowing that, okay, these are the things that I should focus on instead of thinking about, I should probably do a bit webinar. I should probably do some speaking engagement. I should network. I should probably join some kind of LinkedIn groups. These questions would help you stay focused. And that's how you get faster and easier results, because these are the questions that kind of ask you, hey, who you are, where you're at, and how do you really take where you are and move it to the next level? Because everybody is different. And I always say, sales is kind of like going on a road trip. Your client is at, your end destination. How you get there could be different ways to get there. And everybody's unique. Everybody's different. So you can use different strategies to get to your end result. But what works best for you depends on the answer that you would have for these 3 questions. And once you've answered those 3 questions, you will be able to have that absolute clarity and say, hey, these are the prospecting strategies I will use because it works best for me. And it will stop you from thinking about, going to different ways. Maybe I'll try a bit that, or maybe I'll try a bit this, and not having that results. Because the moment you're focused and you know that, hey, these are the best strategies for me, I feel most comfortable in, these are, I feel confident doing these strategies. That's where you start getting a lot of sales results. And that is what we're going to talk about. Instead of talking about the strategies, I want you to think about these 3 fundamental questions. So what are these 3 questions? These questions are really the beginning of when you're trying to determine your lead generation strategies. The starting point of determining how you're going to get in front of ideal clients, how you're going to start prospecting. So the first thing is, what is the size of your sales? What is the size of your sales for you to get your sales goals? And you might say that, hey, the size of sales I would like to get, I would like it to be as big as possible. But that might not be realistic for everybody. You could be selling a copywriting service versus selling a marketing service versus selling an executive coaching service. These all different services, they all have different price point. And you need to ask yourself, hey, what is the price point? What is the service, the sales volume, the target sales for my service? Why is that important? Because here is why it's important. if you're a coaching executive coach and you're selling a high ticket sales, let's say 5-figure, 6-figure sales. So you know that, hey, once you get to work with the CEO, you are able to also work with the rest of the team. And that would represent, 5-figure or, $50,000 for each sales account or even more. You know that realistically, you won't be able to handle that many accounts. So this kind of sales, you know that the prospecting strategies you're using, it's more like a relationship building kind of strategy. But at the same time, let's say if you're offering a one-shot copywriting service where you charge about $1,000, $2,000 per contract, you know that, hey, you know what, you need a lot more clients for you to actually achieve your sales. So if you have high ticket, let's say each sales account would be 15, 20, 50,000 or even 100,000. You know that, the prospecting strategies that you need to focus on would be more about relationship building and getting in front of a small group of clients, small group of prospective clients. But if you know that, hey, my ticket, this average sales of my service about $1,000, $2,000, then you would need a lot more clients for you to have a great year. Ideally, if you're talking about $2,000 per package, then you would need probably 50 clients for you to say that, hey, it's been an okay year. So 50 clients versus, hey, if you're an executive coach and you only need 2 clients to be very busy this year, the sales strategies would be completely different. And that is what I see with a lot of people is that, they have not spent enough time to really think about it. So they would be using the strategy that might not be best suited for their service. So that is the first question you have to ask yourself, the size of your sales and how many clients you need for you to reach your sales goal. And what is the second question you have? The second question is the contacts you have, the existing connections you have. And this is what I see with a lot of very experienced entrepreneurs. You have been in the industry for 15, 20 years. You've known a lot of people within this, the circle. You know a lot of people who's been in and out of this industry. And these kind of people, if you already have a lot of contacts, it would make more sense for you to really try to leverage the contacts you have and get to your prospective clients by creating relationships, asking for referrals, asking for introductions. But on the other hand, if you know that you do not have a lot of contacts within the industry, let's say you just started your business, you're a brand new entrepreneur and you don't have a lot of connections, then you know that, hey, probably you have to focus a lot on building new leads. So basically you have to focus on networking, social selling, joining LinkedIn groups. But the two are completely different. Oh, you could say, it's easy for us to say, hey, maybe I could do both. I can ask for business introductions and I can, also participate in different social media groups. If you can do it, that's great. But, time is always a big challenge for entrepreneurs. I know that you probably don't have a lot of time to do everything. And that is why we're asking these 3 questions. Because what we're asking these 3 questions is to really allow you to be very focused in your marketing strategy. So instead of just doing a little bit that, a little bit this. So the second thing you should ask yourself is, how much contacts, how many contacts do I have within the industry? And that if you have already a lot of contacts, then maybe you should really focus on really rebuilding the existing relationship, asking for business introductions, getting a lot of insider information with your perspective about your prospective clients. But if you don't have a lot of contacts, so the prospecting strategies might be about networking, social selling, cold calling, and these are the strategies. So the two are completely different. So think about your business and try to understand, hey, what kind of contacts do I have? The third is extremely important is where do your decision makers or your potential clients hang out? And that is really, really important because especially if you're about to sell to big companies, or you're selling to founders of company, executives of companies. If you are selling to these people and you decided that, hey, I'm going to do a lot of social, like LinkedIn selling, I'm going to hang out in social media like LinkedIn groups, or I'm going to write a lot of blog posts on LinkedIn. If your decision maker, if your prospective clients are not hanging out on LinkedIn, this might not be the most important strategies for you. So you got to be really careful. On the other hand, if your prospective clients are small entrepreneurs, freelancers, consultants, then go ahead. LinkedIn would be amazing for you. So this is why it's so important to really think about these 3 questions I just talked about to really determine, hey, what is the best prospecting strategies for my business? In reality, you can only have probably perfectly implement 1 or 2 prospecting strategies. If you're doing more than 2, unless you're a salesperson, unless this is all you have to do, you're a sales rep and your entire job is to prospect, then that's different. But as an entrepreneur, if you want to do more than 2 different prospecting strategies and do them well, that is going to take you a lot of time. So the strategy to get your sales results faster and easier is to be very focused and ask yourself these 3 questions. First question, how many clients do I need to make it a good year? Is it a large amount? Is it more than, if it's more than 5, or is it just simply 5? If I have 5 clients, I would have a great year. Or do I need 50 clients, 20 clients? The prospecting strategies would be completely different. The second thing is the contacts. What is the look of your existing contacts? Do you already know a lot of people within the industries? What's your connections? What is your connection like? And FYI, if you want to do a LinkedIn connection checkup, feel free to send a message with me, and I would be very happy to look through your LinkedIn connections and give you an overview of what I think are the opportunities of your existing contacts. Because sometimes, you look at it and you're not sure where the opportunities are. So feel free to message me, and I'd be very happy to look at your connections and then share with you my thoughts. The third questions that you have to ask yourself is, where do your decision makers hang out, or where do your prospective buyers hang out? And that is so important because, if your potential clients, like I said, hang out on LinkedIn, then blogging on LinkedIn, social selling would be amazing opportunities for you. And that's usually the challenge or the problem I see with people on the internet, is that they take one strategy and they say that if you use this one strategy, you would be able to get your sales success. But everybody is slightly different. The product is different, the target industry is different, and your end consumer, your prospective clients are different. So you can't necessarily just take one strategy, say, hey, I'm going to implement this webinar series and it is going to give me their sales results. For some people, it could work. It would be amazing strategies, but for some, it might not work. So think of these 3 strategies, take time to reflect on them, and then this will give you a basic idea of how to pick your lead generation strategies. I will be sharing a blog post that will list some of the most common lead generation strategies and how these questions might connect with these strategies. Stay tuned, and if you have any questions, connect with me. I am here to answer any questions you have. We have got tons of podcasts that's coming up, interviews coming up, and important sales tip that I would love to share with you. Stay tuned, and I'll talk to you next time.